Emmerdale's Moira Dingle has a huge decision to make about her future next week, when newcomer Celia advises her to cut her losses and give up farming for good. When the downtrodden village favorite goes into business with her ruthless neighbor, supplying a local spa hotel with meat, the contract turns into a disaster and Moira's left with only half of what she's owed. With the land earning her a pittance and a huge fine to pay, Moira can't see a way forward. Is she about to give up farming for good? The farm can't continue like this, our Emmerdale source points out. Ever since the slurry leak, Butler's farm has been on its knees. Moira can't bear selling to the Tates, but this time she might not have a choice. After months of struggling financially, Moira has renewed hope when she and Celia make a deal with a spa hotel chain in the local area. As she waits for the big contract, Moira has no idea that Joe Tate is still plotting behind her back, hoping to snatch the land and add it to Kim's empire. Moira suffers yet another blow when Celia reveals the hotel contract has fallen through, leaving them both seriously out of pocket. It's an even bigger kick in the teeth when the hotel only offers them half of what they're owed and Moira is crushed by the news. Is this the end for her farming days? Moira is out of options, our insider adds. She's cash poor, can't pay her staff and no one wants to buy a farm anymore. Will her pride get in the way of selling to Kim, or will she think of a plan B? With the contract a bust, Celia admits she's calling it a day and giving up on the farm. She warns Moira to sell her farm for whatever she can get, and get out fast. But will Moira heed Celia's pointed advice and go cap in hand to Joe Tate, just like he's always wanted? Or will she fight to the very end and look for other options? And with Emmerdale star Natalie J. Robb recently naming Celia as someone who's plotting against Moira, has this all been a ruse from day one? Emmerdale shocker. Moira Dingle faces heartbreaking farming decision. Will she sell to the Tates? Next week in Emmerdale, fans will see Moira Dingle staring down one of the toughest crossroads of her life. After months of grinding hardship, a promising new business deal collapses in spectacular fashion, leaving her wondering whether the time has finally come to walk away from the only life she's ever known. And if that wasn't enough, whispers of betrayal threaten to break her spirit completely. A fragile hope amid financial despair. Ever since the devastating slurry leak, Butler's farm has been in a downward spiral. Moira's days have been filled with relentless hard graft, dwindling bank balances, and the gnawing anxiety of mounting debts. She's fiercely proud and stubborn to a fault. Selling to the Tates has always been unthinkable, but her fight is becoming harder to sustain. So when newcomer Celia swept into the village, promising fresh energy and business savvy, Moira allowed herself a rare glimmer of optimism. Together, the women brokered a deal with a local spa hotel chain. Butler's farm would supply premium meat for their high-end menu. The contract had the potential to steady Moira's finances and keep her team paid. Moira's relief was almost palpable. She told Kane that maybe, just maybe, things were turning around. But Kane, always a realist, warned her to tread carefully. Nothing's ever as straightforward as it seems, Moira, he muttered, leaning against the barn door. Joe Tate's shadow. Unbeknown to Moira, danger was already lurking in the background. Joe Tate, ever the calculating businessman, had been quietly keeping tabs on the farm's fortunes. His ultimate goal? To acquire Butler's farm and fold it neatly into Kim Tate's growing empire. He knew that financial pressure could crack even the strongest opponent, and Moira's recent struggles were playing directly into his hands. Behind the scenes, subtle obstacles began to appear in Moira's path. Delivery schedules were inexplicably delayed. Supply costs crept higher, and while Moira believed these were just the natural hiccups of farming life, Joe knew exactly what he was doing. The contract collapses. The real gut punch came when Celia arrived one morning with grim news. The hotel's pulled out, Celia admitted, her tone clipped. They say the supply costs are too high and they're sourcing elsewhere. They'll only pay us half of what's owed for the last delivery. Moira froze. The words didn't seem to register at first. Half, she repeated. That won't even cover wages, let alone the feed bill. Celia shrugged, a little too casually for Moira's liking. It's business, Moira. Sometimes you take a hit and move on. But for Moira, this wasn't just business, it was her livelihood, her family's history, the land she'd fought tooth and nail to hold onto. A crushing reality. That night, Moira sat alone at the kitchen table, paperwork spread around her like battlefield debris. The numbers didn't lie. She was cash poor, behind on payments, and owed more than she could possibly earn before winter set in. When Nate stopped by to drop off some tools, he found her staring into her mug of tea as if it might hold the answers. You all right, Moira? He asked gently. I'm running out of road, Nate, she admitted. There's only so much fight left in me. Celia's parting blow. The next morning, Celia arrived with an announcement of her own. I'm done, she said bluntly. Farming's a dead end for me. I'm selling what I can and getting out before it swallows me whole. Moira bristled. So you're just walking away? You should too, Celia advised, unflinching. Sell the farm, take whatever you can get, and start fresh. You're too smart to die broke in a field. Her words stung, not because Moira believed them, but because part of her feared they might be true. Pride versus survival. The suggestion to sell to the Tates loomed like a dark cloud over Moira's thoughts. The idea of handing the land over to Kim, of letting her gloat over a victory, was almost unbearable. But without another buyer and with debts closing in, what other choice did she have? Kane, ever loyal, offered his support. If you want to fight for the farm, we'll find a way, he told her. But if you want out, I'll back you on that too. Moira's silence was answer enough, for now. Rumors of betrayal. What Moira doesn't yet realize is that Celia may not have been the friend she thought. Emmerdale actress Natalie J. Robb has recently hinted that Celia's been plotting against Moira from the start, possibly working in tandem with Joe Tate to ensure the farm's downfall. If that's true, every encouraging word, every business suggestion, and every opportunity Celia presented might have been a step in Joe's quiet campaign to break Moira's resolve. The week ahead. Next week's episodes promise to be emotionally charged as Moira weighs her options. Will she swallow her pride and sell the farm to Kim Tate, finally giving Joe the victory he's been chasing? Or will she dig in her heels, risking everything to keep Butler's farm in her family's name? The decision she makes will shape her future, and potentially change the dynamics in the village for years to come. And if she discovers the truth about Celia's possible betrayal, it might not just be the Tates she's ready to fight.